Plant these 15th August vegetables before another seed packet, more water and another patch of bed space go toward a crop frost will claim first. Which choices still have time to pay you back? Oregon State's method treats your local first frost as the finish line. Move back by the maturity number printed on the packet, then move back roughly 14 more days because autumn growth slows. I'll use that test to show what to sow now, what to transplant now, and what to skip. Start by finding the average first frost for your town or nearest weather station. That date is a planning marker, since a frost can arrive earlier or later in any one year. Count the days from today to that marker. Then compare that window with the variety in your hand, because a quick radish and a storage radish may have very different schedules. Cornell Cooperative Extension also advises working backward from frost and allowing time for germination. That small addition matters when an August bed is hot enough to dry the seed row quickly. The first 5 choices can return food quickly from direct sowing. The middle group needs closer attention to soil temperature. The final crops may justify paying for transplants, especially when a cheap seed packet would use up weeks you do not have. Every choice still depends on local weather and the particular variety, so treat the list as a set of decisions tied to local timing. Number 1. Radishes. Take a packet to the bed and read the maturity line before opening it. Add Oregon State's roughly 14-day fall allowance, then check whether that total fits before your frost marker. A fast salad radish may pass while a larger winter type fails the same test. In a northern garden with an early frost, that distinction can decide whether you sow today or leave the packet closed. For a variety that fits, make a shallow groove with a finger, wet the groove, scatter seed with about an inch between drops, and brush loose soil back over it. One short row is enough for a first planting. Sow another short row later only if the calendar still works. Steady moisture helps roots stay tender, while crowded seedlings spend seed and water making leaves. Thin the extras and eat those tops in a salad. Where August soil is still fiercely hot, use afternoon shade or wait for a cooler stretch so the roots develop under less stress. Number 2. Arugula. Stand outside near sunset and feel the top inch of the prepared bed. Cool, damp soil gives arugula a reasonable start. Soil that still radiates midday heat calls for patience, shade cloth, or a container moved out of afternoon sun. This is a crop-specific timing choice. Direct sow now only when the packet's maturity period plus the autumn slowdown fits your remaining window, and the seedbed can stay cool enough to germinate. Hot inland gardens may need late August or early September. Mild northern gardens may already be ready. Arugula earns a small patch because young leaves can be cut before a full-size plant develops. Sow a narrow band, cover lightly, and keep the surface moist. Flea beetle holes look alarming, though a light insect cover at sowing usually costs less than replacing a failed stand. Harvest the outer leaves while they are tender and use the sharper, older leaves in pesto, eggs, or beans. Number 3. Turnips. Imagine the frost date arriving before the roots reach full size. The row can still feed you if you chose turnips for their greens as well as their roots. Clip a few tender leaves from well-established plants, leave enough foliage for growth, and let the underground crop continue. This makes turnips useful when the schedule has some uncertainty. Root harvest still requires honest packet math. Direct seed only when the listed maturity time, germination period, and a fall buffer fit before hard cold is typical in your area. A gardener with a short window should choose a small, quick variety and plan on baby roots. Long fall gardeners can use a larger type. Sow into loosened soil and thin early, because 3 seedlings packed together cannot form 3 good bulbs. Pull them while the shoulders are smooth and modest in size for better texture and faster kitchen use. Number 4. Beets. When a beet row produces plenty of tops and almost no roots, crowding is often the culprit. Each rough beet seed cluster can send up more than one seedling. Leaving every sprout feels thrifty, but it converts root space into a dense strip of leaves. Snip or pull the extras when they are small, rinse them, and add them to dinner. Before sowing, compare your exact beet variety with the days remaining. Oregon State recommends beets for fall and winter gardens, yet that regional recommendation still needs the packet maturity number and roughly 2 slower growth weeks to fit your local frost window. In an early frost area, grow them for baby beets and greens or skip a long storage variety. Where fall stays mild, direct sow into a moist bed and mulch between rows after seedlings appear. Even watering helps the root size without a cycle of stalling and cracking. Number 5. Scallions. A handful of scallion tops can finish eggs, fried rice, soup, potatoes, and a pot of beans. That frequent use is why a slim band of onions can justify its bed space even when the stems never become thick. Sow in a band, keep the surface damp through emergence, and begin taking a few greens once the plants are established. A wide container near the kitchen works when the main beds are full. Use the packet to decide the intended harvest. If it's full scallion maturity plus the fall allowance runs beyond your first frost, plan to cut young greens or buy bunching onion starts. Direct sow for thicker white shanks only where the remaining mild season supports that longer finish. In the coldest zones, August sowing may be too late for a useful outdoor crop. Gardeners with winter protection or long autumns have more room. Feed lightly after establishment if the leaves look pale, since the goal is steady foliage growth. Number 6. Leaf lettuce. Leaf lettuce can turn a bare strip into a loose carpet of green and bronze, but the seedbed controls the result. Walk past it at midday during a hot spell, and the surface may be dry before the tiny roots have a chance. Pre-water the row, sow shallowly, and cover with the finest layer of soil. A board held above the bed on bricks or a piece of shade cloth can soften afternoon heat without sealing off air. This is one crop where an August date alone says very little. Iowa State Extension warns that high soil temperatures can interfere with germination of some fall vegetables. For leaf lettuce, wait for cooler soil when your bed remains hot, then require the variety's packet time plus the autumn allowance to land within your local window. Choose quick leaf types for an early frost. Head lettuce needs more time and carries more risk. Once plants are growing, pick outer leaves and keep the center intact for additional harvests. Number 7. Mustard greens. A bag of cooking greens disappears into one family meal. A mustard seed packet can produce several cuttings from a small patch, which makes the crop attractive when grocery savings matter. The seed is tiny, so mix it with dry sand if that helps you distribute it. Cover lightly, water with a gentle spray, and thin the young plants into the spaces that remain empty. North Carolina State Extension identifies mustard as a quick cool season crop, but local heat and frost still set the boundaries. Sow now where nights are cooling and the packet maturity plus a fall buffer fits. In a hot summer area, wait for cooler late August soil or start with a very small test row under light shade. A short frost window favors baby leaf harvests instead of full bunches. Heat and water stress intensify the flavor, so steady moisture produces a milder leaf. Use young leaves raw and larger leaves cooked with lentils or beans. Number 8. Spinach. The expensive spinach mistake is reseeding the same warm, dry spot after the first sowing fails. Change the conditions before opening a second packet. Water deeply, wait until the soil has cooled, and choose a section protected from harsh afternoon sun. Press the seed into firm, moist soil and check the row daily until seedlings appear. Spinach belongs in late August only when local conditions agree. If warm nights are holding soil heat, keep the packet for a cooler week. If the packet's maturity time plus the slower fall period reaches beyond your usual frost, choose a baby leaf goal, use protection, or skip the sowing. Long, mild autumns offer a wider window than early frost climates. Once established, spinach handles cool weather well and needs less intervention. Pick larger outer leaves first so smaller center leaves can continue growing. Number 9. Carrots. Here is a simple germination setup using materials you may already own. Make a shallow furrow in loose soil, water it, sow the carrot seed and cover it lightly. Lay a narrow board over the row to slow surface drying. Lift it every day and remove it as soon as the first seedlings appear. Burlap can serve the same purpose if it stays damp. This saves seed by protecting the first sowing from the crust that ruins many August carrot rows. Carrots need enough time for the chosen root size. Iowa State Extension places carrots in a summer window for fall harvest and notes the germination problem caused by hot soil. Direct sow only when the packet maturity, germination time, and fall slowdown fit your local calendar. Transplanting tends to disturb the taproot, so a short frost window calls for a faster or smaller carrot. Thin after emergence, keep moisture even, and harvest baby carrots if cold approaches before full size. If this budget-first timing method is useful, subscribe for more garden plans built around the seed, space, and weather you actually have. Number 10. Bok choy. To decide whether bok choy fits, picture two very different August afternoons. One brings cooler evenings and dependable irrigation. The other keeps the bed hot and dry, then sends a cold snap soon after. Bok choy can grow rapidly in the first pattern and bolt under the stress of the second. Watch the forecast as closely as the calendar before you commit a full row. Oregon State includes bok choy among useful fall brassicas. For your garden, direct sow a quick variety only when cooler weather is arriving and it's packet time plus the fall allowance fits. Use healthy transplants when the remaining window is tighter, provided the plants have not become root-bound. An early frost gardener may need to skip it or grow a baby type under cover. Set plants into fertile, moist soil with room for the stems to widen and protect the young leaves from flea beetles if those pests are active. Number 11. Swiss chard. Use the calendar gap to choose seed or starts. North Carolina State Extension lists both options. Check the variety's timing against your remaining weeks, and use a healthy small transplant when the count is tight. Gardeners facing an early frost should still verify that it can establish and produce before deep cold. Once that choice is made, chard is flexible in the bed. It tolerates lingering warmth better than spinach and gives edible leaves without waiting for a head. Place it in sun or part shade, water when the upper soil begins to dry, and pick outer stems close to the base. Repeated outer leaf harvests can keep a small chard planting productive, so buying a whole flat may waste money. Split a nursery pack with a neighbor, or select only the healthiest starts. Number 12. Kale. Warm weather insects can spend more of your kale than frost does. A few cabbage moths may turn a newly purchased transplant into stems within days. Inspect leaf undersides at the nursery, rinse off any eggs you find, and cover the planted row with insect netting before pests discover it. Reusing a sound cover from spring is cheaper than replacing plants. Kale can begin from seed or transplant, and the local clock picks the route. Cornell Cooperative Extension includes kale in both fall seeding and seedling planning. Direct sow only if your packet maturity plus the cooler season allowance fits before severe cold. Choose transplants in a shorter season. In very early frost regions, even starts may need a cover or may be too late for much harvest. Take lower leaves after the plant is established and leave the growing point untouched. Number 13. Kohlrabi. Harvest kohlrabi when the swollen stem is still smooth and about the size recommended on your packet. Waiting for the largest possible bulb often produces a fibrous center. Peel the stem for slaw, cut it into wedges for roasting, and cook the leaves as greens. That gives one compact plant several kitchen uses. Its August root depends on the remaining season. North Carolina State Extension allows for seed or transplants in its regional calendar. Direct sow a fast variety where its maturity time plus the fall buffer fits. Use a young transplant when several saved weeks make the difference. Gardeners with a very early frost should skip long-season kohlrabi, even if starts are available. Give each plant enough room for the stem to expand, keep growth even with regular water, and harvest promptly when it reaches useful size. Number 14. Broccoli transplants. At the nursery, ignore the tallest broccoli. Look for a compact plant with a sturdy stem, several healthy leaves, and roots that hold the mix together without circling into a hard knot. A stretched or root-bound bargain plant can lose the time you hope to buy. Choose a sturdy transplant with compact growth and healthy leaves. For August broccoli, the guardrail is direct. Choose transplants in short-season areas and confirm that the variety's transplant to harvest time plus a fall allowance fits before damaging cold. Iowa State Extension describes broccoli as a fall crop set out by transplant in its region. A mild, long fall climate may still have other options, but gardeners farther north should avoid starting a standard heading variety from seed this late. Plant deeply enough to steady the stem, water at the root zone, mulch after the soil is moist, and use insect cover early. Count side shoots as part of the harvest when the central head stays modest. Number 15. Cabbage transplants. Cabbage is the last choice because a head ties up space until it firms. Before paying for a six-pack, decide how many heads your kitchen can use and how many planting spots can stay occupied. Buy only the number of starts you can space according to the label. Compact early varieties fit a small budget bed and reach the kitchen sooner than giant storage types. Use transplants for August planting unless you garden through a long, mild autumn and the seed packet clearly fits. North Carolina State Extension provides regional transplant windows for cabbage, reinforcing the need to match the local calendar. Check the label's remaining time, add a slower growth allowance, and skip any variety that runs past your likely cold. Set the starts into rich soil, water consistently, and leave the spacing listed on the tag. Crowding delays heading and increases disease pressure, so filling every empty inch works against the purchase. Now make a 3-crop plan. Choose one fast direct-sown crop whose packet math works, one leafy crop suited to your current soil temperature, and one transplant only if its remaining schedule fits. Write the sowing date beside each choice, check the rows for moisture every day during germination, and keep the unopened packets for a better season. Look up your local first frost average, run the count for the varieties you own, and plant the 3 that pass. Tell me which 3 you chose and how many frost-free weeks remain in your garden.